Pike County Fiscal Court's in session. Madam Clerk, have the roll call, please.
Judge Rutherford.
Present.
Master Anderson.
Here.
Master Johnson. Here. Master Murphy. Here. Master Robinson. Master Dodson.
Here.
And Master Harris is absent.
We'll now have the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Leo Murphy.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You have in your packet a copy of the minutes of the July 5, 2011 meeting. I have reviewed those, and Jeannie has, and we've found them to be correct. If there are no questions, we'll have a motion, please. Have a motion to have a second. Have a second from Magistrate Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson.
Yes.
Master Murphy. Yes. Master Robinson. Master Dodson.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Next, we have the adoption of a resolution authorizing the county judge executive to sign an agreement between Summit Engineering for the US 460 Development Plan Project Study. That was from US 23 to the Virginia border, and it's on what we call the Economic Development Quarter. And Jack Sykes, you're present this morning. Would you come around and make the presentation?
We are pleased to announce that the governor has awarded, or in the process of awarding a grant to the county. It'll be a multi-county coal service grant to cover the cost of this project, and it is a multi-task project. And let's look at the next slide. Basically, there's a master plan for the 460 corridor, a master plan for what we call Coal Mountain, and then a Maribon 201 facility plan. There's a couple of exhibits on boards here, and they also show up on the slides later, but the first one is the 460 corridor, and there are, we're getting a repeat. Next slide, please. And the next slide, there we go. This is the 460 corridor from its connection with US 23 over near Shelby Valley all the way up through the state line near the Breaks Interstate Park. And if you look at that particular exhibit, you'll see 5 field sites that are in a reddish, purplish, turquoise color. I mean, it depends on which exhibit you're looking at, I guess. But they're all in the ones with the reddish color. Those 5 sites are going to be purchased by the state and will become county property. Those 5 sites are all proposed to be development sites. The largest one is the John Moore branch, which is the L-shaped one there near the center, lower center of the map. It's about 100 acres, and the others, as you can see, are a little smaller, but there's one at Wolf Pit that is a fairly significant site. Then there's the one at Wolf Pen Branch, and the others are, let me get glasses on here, give you the exact location. There's one at Wolf Pit, one at Jesse's Branch, one at John Moore Branch, one at Stone Coal, and one at Wolf Pit. And one at Wolf Pen is up near the state line. It might be a good opportunity for some tourism type development. Our proposal here would be to look at these sites, and also the greenfield sites in there that you see are sites that were also created by the project but are owned privately. There's about a dozen of those sites. We're going to look at both sets of fields. Some of the privately owned sites are maybe too small, access may be not adequate to get to them, but if they are at all amenable to including the study, we will include those in the study, and we'll do a highest and best use. Is it best for this particular site to be residential, commercial, tourism, that kind of evaluation. And then once we determine, in conjunction with meetings with the court, what is the highest and best use of each site, we will develop the cost of getting infrastructure and access to the site. Infrastructure meaning wastewater, water, power, all the cable utilities. And then we will put together a master plan for each site to indicate how it should be developed. This will give you the opportunity, I think, to get an economic corridor that is the highest and best use, and give you a document that allows us to go and pursue funding to develop each of these sites as funding will become available, and it should be a long-term economic benefit to the county. Now, in addition to that, the next slide, please. We have an area called Coal Mountain, and that area is shown on the screen now as you look at it. Also, this slide to my left here, exhibit to my left, and it also is shown relative to the highway project. We sort of attached it on the top of the exhibit over there beside the Hillman. And you can see that's about a 2,000 acre tract of property. The turquoise color, bluish color there has already been pretty much offered to the county at little or no cost. The other tract, I'm sure the judge is in negotiations. I'm not sure what the status of that is. But there's about 2,000 acre tract of property there that we will be doing a similar analysis on, master planning, and determining, this site will most likely be a light industry, residential mix or something like that. And we would look again at the master planning and the cost of utilities, and again give you an opportunity to know what the costs are to develop it and pursue funding for it. The other element of our work requirements would be next slide, would be a 201 facility plan. We would call it the Marble 201 facility plan. And it's for the area shown outlined in blue there. And actually there's already a Shelby 201 facility plan on one side of this area, and the Elkhorn City or Tug Fork 201 facility plan that is 90% complete on the other side. And a 201 facility plan is basically a wastewater planning study that's required by all the funding sources. In order to fund a project, you have to have a 201 facility plan which has been adopted and approved by both state and federal government. So that would be the third element of our responsibilities, would be to complete the Marble 201 facility plan. And then the next page is bringing it all together, and we've got an exhibit that sort of shows you the yellow is the alignment of 460. The gray area at the top is the Coal Mountain site, and then the red area is the Marble 201 facility study. We will have submitted a contract to the county for $300,000 to complete all elements of this study, and we understand that this is all contingent upon final contractual approval with the state of Kentucky that the funding is in place. Any questions, I'll answer them.
Anybody have any questions?
This monies that we're talking about, is that a co-servant's money, or is that a governor's money, or?
It's in a pot of money, and this co-severance is the multi-county co-severance. Letcher County has joined us in supporting this application because they see some opportunities as being adjacent county for jobs for some of their folks might be able to drive over to some of the development work in this vicinity. So it is co-severance, but it's multi-county, which is project-oriented.
I know I attended a meeting at the college a few weeks ago over the coal to gas plant that's supposed to maybe be located two places, one at Phelps and one at...
We're under confidential agreements to not announce that plant at the present time.
Well, I was just talking about a little bit of relocation and housing if we was to happen to have something like that, and we have 12 to 1,400 people. Judge, I didn't hear nothing about no confidential. When I went to the meeting, it was open to the public at the college.
Well, it's not their confidentiality, it's ours confidentiality.
Well, you know, the
Anybody
meeting I
else
attended,
discuss?
the meeting I attended was up at the college, and it was open to the public, and there were several people there supporting this thing. And you know, if we was to have something in Phelps, we would need a place for them to live.
That was a permit hearing?
It was a permit here
Permit hearing by the state, by the Commonwealth.
for the hour.
That was a permit hearing required by the law, but the plan is to be announced by the governor's office.
But anyway, when you interrupted me there, I was trying to find out if we could get some housing over in the Phelps area. I've talked to you about this several times, about some propped up on a strip job there that we could relocate people and get them out of the flood area. And you know, we just continue to lose people in that area, and it'd be good if we could get something like this for that side of the county too.
I think if you have the economic incentive there to attract folks over there because there are jobs, and again, I don't know anything about the detailed project, and I think the opportunities to get some grant money for housing development would greatly be enhanced.
Hey, Jack, I know Hillman, speaking of housing and development, I had some of my constituents ask me about, they were reading the article in the paper. Has there been, and Judge may know too, has there been any recent developments on the I-66 project?
Not that I'm aware of. Judge may know something, but I'm not aware of anything.
Due to the situation, financial situation in the country,
Right.
that was put on the
Kind of put on
back
hold.
burner. Magistrate Anders, I don't think we answered the question fully. Malta County severance tax is a discretionary fund under the Act that the governor of the Commonwealth gets to
Right.
hand the money out. It's not like the tax that comes back from our legislators to us and we prioritize it.
Judge, isn't that Malta County money divided up by each county, and each judge and each fiscal court determines where that money is to be spent?
I wish it was, that we'd get 32% of the total tax back.
Well,
That's
you know, I know we have agreed to let Letcher County use some of our Malta County money in the past.
Correct.
To develop their part.
Now they've agreed to assist, as Mr. Sachs said, they've agreed to assist us in getting this development, this corridor developed.
So you or the
Partially.
court don't have any say over where Malta County money is to be,
No, that's the governor's office completely.
y'all
on
don't
that.
have to agree on nothing?
No. We're just glad we got it, Hillman.
Well, you know, I am too, and I thought it was an agreement with each county to for an industrial development park or jobs or whatever, that they would have a little say with Big Sandy Ad and whoever to try to get these industrial parks built with our Malta County money and use it wisely.
Any other questions? No question to have a motion to approve based upon the Metro County Attorney, based upon the, I know what you're going to ask. Go right ahead.
I have one reservation on this, is that that you be authorized to sign the agreement upon receipt of the signed documents for the money's coming from, because I'm not comfortable signing a $300,000 contract without
Correct.
the money in hand or knowing that we're going to get the money.
We understand it would be contingent upon signed documents from the state.
Let me ask you this before we take a vote on that. You will be having a public hearing, so the public will have an input.
In our proposal, there are 3 meetings that will be open to public for comment.
Okay. I think this is the future of Pike County for jobs for people living today and those unborn. I think that there's 2,000 acres totally, as Mr. Sachs has stated, that can be developed, and whoever thought that we would have that much level acreage available, and as you stated, at no cost to the county. So I think that hopefully that we can go ahead and get this package together and get started on the total acreage we've got up there. The total acreage starts from US 23 to the state line. And of course the Coal Mountain development would be the new community that would be built in the future, so that the children born here could get an education and not leave and go to college and university and never return home. We have a brain drain when that happens. They need to have an opportunity, as we have had, to marry here and to raise their family here and to have good paying jobs. So what an opportunity this is for us to get all this level land. And I might add, this level land comes from coal mining, what we call mountaintop development, and which is called mountaintop mining, and road construction. That is the only way in these mountains that we're ever going to get any place to build on, in our schools, our churches, our communities, and out of the floodplain. This will mean that the mitigation programs that's available in the future through FEMA, through USDA and other federal agencies to move people out of the floodplain, they'll have somewhere to go. So this is a great opportunity from the standpoint we're just blessed that we've able to have this property available to us. And it is incumbent upon us as a government in place now to do proper planning. You don't get anything done if you don't plan it and if you don't set goals. So it gives us hope for our tomorrows, and it don't leave us in a vacuum of what's going to happen in the future, because we can put it in place for future generations. So to have a motion, to have a second.
Judge, I'll make a motion.
Got a motion by
Does it need to be contingent on the receipt of the signed documents?
Magistrate Anderson. We have a second. Magistrate Johnson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy. Yes. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
Judge, do you want to talk about the fish trap project before I leave?
We can do that while you're standing up there. On the agenda also is adoption of resolution authorizing the county judge executive to sign an agreement with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet for Fish Trap Road and Upper Pompey Road. Mr. Sykes.
We are bringing it up on the screen, I think. While she's bringing it up, I'm sure you saw the announcement the governor made relative to this project, and this is providing access to an area in the county on Upper Pompey that has very limited access ever since the fish trap dam was constructed. And just go through a couple of exhibits real quick, and then I'm sure the judge will have some comments. The slide on your screen right now indicates the total length of the project. At the bottom of your slide there is the boat ramp at Fish Trap. And the first red portion of that there parallels that little campground that was put in by the county. And so the road will basically start in the parking lot of the area where boats are launched, and then traverse around the contour of the hill until it intersects the old Pompey Road, and that portion is identified in red on the exhibit you see. And then there's a portion in green from there up through the top of the map, which is the old Pompey Road, which it has to be reconstructed and upgraded to give you proper access. So that's the length of the project. Next slide, please. This just gives you an indication of the type of road we're going to construct. They're basically going to be 18-foot travelway, 2-foot shoulders on either side, and guardrail on the lower side, and of course the upper side of the hill is going to be a cut wall, as is normal in this type of terrain. Next slide. This is just an indication of the traffic flow that we would reroute through the boat parking lot. That the Corps, this is something the Corps wanted us to do, and it shows near the top of the screen there the two-way traffic, which would actually be the direct access into Upper Pompey, and then we basically shifted the parking for the boat traffic a little closer to the water. Next slide. The benefits, and these are benefits that were identified by the Corps in the environmental assessment they did on this project several years ago. And this actually is their recommendation out of a fairly extensive study as to the access to be provided to Upper Pompey. The benefits were a reduction of 15 minutes for trips from Upper Pompey to Pikeville. I think it's much more than that, but that's their findings. A reduction of 6 minutes for trips between Jonathan Road and River Hurricane Branch to Pikeville. 8 to 10 minute reduction of travel time from Upper Pompey to Millard Elementary and Millard Middle School. Improved access and response time for emergency vehicles by 8 to 13 minutes, and provides an augment to Route Kentucky 1441, which may lower crash rates on the roadway. 1441 is the road coming down the mountain to Raccoon Creek, as you're currently required to get out of Upper Pompey. Next slide, please. They said recognize restraints, and basically they told us we had to develop the road according to Kentucky Transportation Cabinet standards for a state park road. We had to understand that there's a congressionally authorized project purpose for fish trap, which is low flow augmentation and fish and wildlife conservation, and these must and flood protection, and these must not be adversely impacted by our project. And the project must be environmentally acceptable. Next slide. And as I mentioned earlier, primarily the road will be at 18-foot, 2-foot shoulders with speed limit of 25 miles per hour is what we anticipate constructing. The cost estimate is about $2.4 million is our current estimate. There are a few items that are still in question, and I'll show that in just a moment, but this exceeds the $2 million, obviously, funding. We will be providing a much more detailed cost estimate after we do our geotechnical and get aerial mapping of the site, so we have more detail on what we are encountering out there. But there may be a little bit of a shortfall in funding, and the judge will talk about that, I'm sure, in a minute. And then the last slide indicates the areas that we couldn't put a cost to, but most of these, the Corps has agreed to absorb the cost. The upgrade of the master plan for fish trap, they agreed in our meeting that they would take care of that. The county maintenance and security patrol is already in place, and we think the county can do that with no additional cost. Timber payment is one item that will still be added, and that we will not know that number until we actually do an appraisal of the timber to be cut. And then additional cost to place material outside of the flood storage area. We're trying to convince the Corps that all the cut material is coming from inside the flood storage area, and we're trying to convince them to let us place it back inside the flood storage area in a different location and create an additional campground. And we are still optimistic that they'll allow us to do that, but we don't have that approval. If we don't get that approval, we'll have to haul the material outside that flood storage, and there'll be additional cost in hauling it, and little or no benefit will be obtained in placing that material for recreational uses. The environmental assessment will have to be updated, and it's my understanding they agreed to that at no cost to the county. The right-of-way will be provided at no cost to the county. There might be some mitigation, and again, that mitigation will be determined by the Corps. And then the Corps administrative expenses involved in the oversight, they agreed to absorb those costs at no obligation to the county. So we had a good meeting. First of all, the governor came and announced the funding, and then we followed that up with a meeting with the Corps, and we're currently trying to get our mapping and some answers from the Corps relative to some of these questions so we can actually go ahead and do our geotech and proceed with the design. Judge?
This project is in Magistrate Murphy's district and Magistrate Robinson's district. Since 1968, since the fish trap dam was completed, these people have been isolated. 12 minutes from Pikeville. If they've had to travel 42 miles to get medical attention and education, groceries, and it will only be 12 miles once this road is completed. So this is something, and how those people have had to live in that particular area of the county is a disgrace to the United States of America. The road was not built to any standards in that area by our federal government. They refused to buy the people out. They left these people isolated. The study was done in the 70s. We fought this thing from the 70s up. A study was done by the Pike County Board of Education and showed absenteeism for students was higher in that area than any area of Pike County because they couldn't get out to school anytime it was snowed. The elevation is approximately 80 to 85% coming out of those areas to even get to road to get out. So this is God sent, and we have a commitment from our state senator, our 3 legislators, that if any extra money is needed on this project, it will be in the 2012 Severance Tax Act that will be passed by the Kentucky General Assembly. Are there any questions?
Judge, I'd like to say you've done a good job. And, you know, I just wonder what your plans are for the people in the Peter Creek area. You know, I heard you laying out the mileage that's...
I hope, Master Dotson, within the next few months that there will be a major announcement in the Peter Creek area of this county, which will be unbelievable if and when it happens.
Well, you know...
I'm hopeful that something that we've been working on for a long time that could come to fruition. And it will be something that will be great for the people of Pike County, Eastern Kentucky, and Central Appalachia.
I know the road, you know, from Phelps to Pikeville is probably one of the dangerous highways that we have in the county. And we probably have 1 or 2 accidents a month there on that stretch. And the people have been anxiously waiting to have a road that they can get on, just like you said there, and go to Pikeville and the county seat. And I hope that the legislators and the governor and you are working on a plan for a road for us to be able to access like Belfry does to Pikeville from Peter Creek, and we would greatly like to see that happen.
It's a disgrace. I concur with Magistrate Dotson. It's absolutely, again, a disgrace. The type of road that people have traveled on that has to go to Phelps, Kentucky, or to Freeburn, or to Argo, or wherever over there, with the amount of coal that's been mined from that particular area, and the money, we got back 4%, Bobby, for years. Then we built it up. We got up close to 50% one time. Then greedy governors and greedy legislators from other areas stole our money back, Magistrate Dotson, and put it in the state budget. So we have continuously to work on a road going into Phelps, and we will continue to do that. I've made trip after trip over the years since I've been here all these years of trying to get them to understand that these people are part of this Commonwealth, and that the coal that's been mined on the back of these miners, and I've stood before House and Senate committees down there and told them about the miners that give their lives and planted on these points in this county, and that we've kept the lights on in Kentucky. 95% of the electricity in Kentucky comes from coal, and what these people have done, and yet Magistrate Dotson and I and others have to talk the way we're talking today about when we're going to get relief, when we're going to get the money back here, and when a place like Peter Creek, who has all the coal that's been mined over there and sent out of here, that they don't have an adequate road. And I concur with exactly what you said. Anything else?
Judge, I'd like to make 2 comments.
You go right ahead.
The first comment is, and you have touched on it already, is that this is only for $2 million, and I've seen all kind of figures on the completion of this project, and I just want to make sure the court is aware that this is only obligating the state for up to $2 million, and that the county is responsible after the $2 million. The second thing, which I would call the court's attention to, and I will make sure that Frankie Stacy is aware of, and Jack, you might want to listen to this too because it applies to you, In this particular agreement, there is a clause in this agreement that satisfies the state auditor's request for open records with any contract with the state now to get around the controversy that you had with Passport and some other agencies downstate. And it reads, it's paragraph 20, and it reads to wit, the county hereby acknowledges it is responsible to inform any entity it intends to hire or use as a contractor as defined in KRS 45A.030, that the contracting agency, the Auditor of Public Accounts, the Legislative Research Commission, or their duly authorized representatives shall have access to any of the contractor's books, documents, papers, records, or other evidence which are directly pertinent to this agreement for the purpose of financial audit or program review. Furthermore, any of the contractor's books, documents, papers, records, or other evidence provided to the contracting agency, the Auditor of Public Accounts, or the Legislative Research Commission, which are directly pertinent to the agreement, shall be subject to public disclosure provisions of KRS 61.870 to KRS 61.884, regardless of the proprietary nature of the information. So basically, anybody we contract with is agreeing to be bound by the open records law as it applies to satisfying this particular agreement.
Madam Clerk, would you please note that
And we need to include that
the
in
$2
any
million
bid documents
is
for any
what's available
contract work on
presently,
this.
and this contract will be within that framework of the $2 million. And we hope, Mr. Sykes, to bring that back into budget. We haven't got an answer back to the Corps yet on the questions they ask us. Do we have an answer back to the Corps on the questions that they ask?
We are in communication with them, and they've asked for some additional information from us, and just this past, yesterday, as a matter of fact, they want us to go ahead and give them some detailed drawings on that field site before they make a decision on that. So we're in communication. I would ask the question, would it be appropriate to go ahead and authorize you to sign contracts for design services on this project, contingent upon final authorization of funding and so on, so we're going to come back. All the numbers have been out there in the budgets.
We would like, and I'm sure that the total court would like to see a contract out this year, in this construction year, and it's getting now up into July. Hopefully we can go ahead and get the Corps permit and get this resolved so that we can let a bid out on this project and move on with it. It's been all these years and nothing's been done up there for these folks. So we need to get an answer back to the Corps as soon as feasible so that we can go ahead and let a contract on this. I know there's some questions that push that to 2.4, and I understand that some of them's already been resolved. The law enforcement, which we provide up there already, is through the Pike County Sheriff under a contract with the Corps. That was included in there. That mean 100,000 came off of that. Right. So you are now working with him on where you're going to fill, when you remove the fill, where you're going to deposit it. You have two different locations. One that you proposed, the second one they wanted you to look at up on the hill. So quick as we get an answer to that, we ought to be able to tell where we stand financially in regard to this project, I think.
Yes, sir, I understand. My question was, would it be appropriate to go ahead and get authorization for you to sign engineering design contracts? We need to get those to the Transportation Cabinet for their review and approval.
Mr. County Attorney, would that be?
Yeah, I think once we sign this agreement that the state obligates the $2 million, we can spend. My only concern is
not have the money.
I've seen all kind of figures, and just we just need to keep in mind that you've got $2 million to work with, and after that you're
correct. Will that be sufficient?
Judge, can you make your motion to where it won't exceed the $2 million?
Correct. Only 2.
Where the county won't be bound
down. The county
down.
won't be obligated for any more, and we'll adjust the budget as we have to, and then look for the commitment. If money is needed, we'll look for the commitment, which we already have from our senator and 3 representatives. Leo Murphy. Leo, let me add, Leo has been involved in this. He's been in meetings, several here. He was in Frankfurt to the meeting with the secretary and his staff, and Mr. Dameron. Mr. Dameron has been very helpful to us in regard to pulling this package together. Mr. Murphy.
Jack, my question is, have you got an estimate on what it would cost from the end of the county road now to build the new one? You know, I mean, it should be way less than the $2 million then if it comes.
I'm not sure.
Push comes to shove that we can get rid
You're
of
talking about where the old county road.
where our county road ends on Apple property.
I don't have that number with me, but we certainly can break that out.
Okay.
Jody, you don't remember that, do you? We looked at it, but we have that number. I can easily arrive at it, but I don't have it with me.
I'm just thinking if push comes to shove and we can't get the other 400, you know, I mean, we could look at it, doing the whole project from the end of the road around anyway.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
But I was just requesting authorization from the judge to sign a design contract so we can get everything moving forward.
Okay.
Do I have a motion? Motion. Have a motion, have a second from Master Johnson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Mr. Johnson? Yes. Mr. Murphy? Yes. Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Ms. Sykes, thank you.
Thank you.
We now need a motion to acknowledge receipt of the County Court Clerk's 2010 audit. Do I have a motion? Have a motion, and have a motion, Master Johnson. Have a second. Have a second, Master Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Yes. Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. As always, Lee and Pearl Elliott, we're always glad to have you present in the courtroom. You are part of our county government. We appreciate you and the service you provide the people of the county. And if you want to make any statement, fine. We have got your audit. It's been reviewed, and it will be made a part of the record.
I may have to come make a copy of it.
Next, we have our jailer with us, Rodney Scott. Rodney, would you come up, and as another county official that we work with, and we've had a great relationship with our jailer. We know that through financial problems, he I started to say, like me, loses his hair, but we've survived. We have survived this in the past, and we'll survive it in the future. We wanted to provide health care for the people that we had to under the Kentucky statute, and how we provided that health care. We wanted to do it properly, and we wanted to do it so the county wouldn't continuously be suits filed against the county. So the county attorney's office has certainly worked with you and us in regard to contract that we had with the Southern Health Partners. And I think you had some news for us the other day, and if you'll repeat that to us, and the treasurer and you was, you kindly said that you was satisfied with your contract. Go right ahead.
Yeah, the new contract that they proposed, right now, any inmate we have that goes over the population of 300, we have to pay so much a day to house. They're raising that from 300 to 350. So, our population stays about 350, so, that's going to save us right at $50 per day just with that contract.
So, Madam Treasurer, you all have discussed it. I think we're satisfied, aren't we, with the present contract we have? And we'll continue to review that contract with you all, of course. And any questions in regard to authorizing me to sign the contract with Southern Health Partners?
Does it satisfy you? These people that satisfy you with them running?
Yeah.
Need a motion?
Yes.
Motion.
Motion by Magistrate Anderson to have a second. Have a second by Magistrate Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson? Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Mr. Jailer, we need to acknowledge a receipt of your jail commissary report to comply with the statute.
Yeah, I believe I give everyone a copy. It just has to be acknowledged that I have turned it in.
Motion to acknowledge.
We are in receipt of that, Madam Clerk, and so do we have a motion?
A second.
Acknowledge the receipt of the jail commissary report.
Here you go.
We got it.
Madam Clerk, have a vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson? Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Hey, Jailer, next time you come in here, we'll dim the lights a little bit. I can't hardly see you up there. That light's shining on top of you.
Well, Magistrate Johnson, I thought I was going to be late because I just couldn't do a thing with my hair this morning. Thank you all.
Thank you, Jailer Scott. You have in the packet an ordinance authorizing and approving agreements to establish the 911 system. Jeannie, who was going to present that?
Judge, this is
Mr. County Attorney.
Judge, this is an interlocal cooperation agreement establishing the 911 system. The duration of the original agreement was from March 21st, 2005 for a period of 5 years. I have not heard anyone complain about this particular agreement, so basically would need a motion to re-enter this interlocal cooperation agreement between the state police, the Pike County, City of Elkhorn, City of Coal Run. It's the same agreement that we've had in the past, but the original agreement had a 5-year duration or time limit on it. So if we're going to continue with this agreement, we need to basically just redo it and reestablish it.
This would authorize the county judge executive to sign this on behalf of the fiscal court and continue the E911 program with the Kentucky State Police. This was recommended by the E911 board, Madam Treasurer. You're the treasurer of that board, and that was approved by everybody that he mentioned, which was the mayor of Elkhorn City and mayor of Coal Run Village, and the county judge executive, which I'm a member of the state police, our emergency management, Doug Tackett, and others, and that request come from that board that the county attorney has presented to you. Are there a motion to approve it? Motion by Magistrate Robinson. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. We have no bids to be awarded on this meeting. Next is magistrate's road work.
Motion.
Motion for Magistrate Anderson to accept the magistrate's road work and authorize the work to be done. Have a motion by Magistrate Anderson. Have a second by Magistrate Johnson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Next is magistrate comments. Magistrate Anderson.
Judge, I have no comments this time.
Magistrate Johnson.
I don't have anything, DJ.
Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dodson.
Judge, I have a thing we need to probably bring up. I guess our swimming pool has been completed, hasn't it, Amos? We met over there and went over some things that the contractor was supposed to do. Cliff was present with the contractor, and we had the lady from Frankfurt there that day that's over the pools. And I think, everything has been completed that was supposed to have been done. And probably our next step would be getting the filter system in place, and I was wondering, probably we need to let a bid out toward that pool so we can have it ready to go the next year, you know, when it's open, time for the pools. And Damus, you probably have the specs, and the guy that was with the lady from Frankfurt that told us what we had to do, the size filters and things we had to have, has he or she gave y'all any indications on what we need to get that filter system up and going?
Not as of yet, they haven't. None of them have been in contact with me. Last I heard was from you. That's the last I've heard.
Yeah. So, Judge, I think we've got monies in the park and recreation money, don't we, Jonda, that we can
Madam Treasurer.
go ahead and get that filter going. And the way that last I heard that we could probably do it for less than $50,000, and I think the one that gave you an estimate was around 90.
Yes.
So, do you know what we need to bid out, the size and all that?
Well, we pretty much have to go with whatever the volume of water is in the pool. I mean, you have to have something to filter that much water. And it has to be approved through the health department. So anything that's bid will have to be approved through them.
So can we go ahead and get Frankie to let a bid out on that system?
Should be able to, yes.
Well, Judge, I'm just speaking, and Damus is probably more up than I am, but with the work that's been done and been paid for sandblasting, caulking, repairs on the pool, it would be nice if we could get the filter system going and get water in the pool to make sure that we don't have any leaks, and try to have it ready to go, hopefully in the spring if money's available to open them up.
I think that ought to be done. Jeannie, I think I did a memo asking for a copy of the inspection reports to make sure the intent of the original contract was carried out, and I haven't seen those yet. But I do need, we do need that, and then we need to go ahead, and the money is available, and until we bid it, we won't know what the price is going to be. So Frankie is on vacation. Quick as he returns, Jeannie, would you give him a memo to get with Damus and get what's needed? And we also need a copy of the inspection reports for Frankie from the health department, and of course that person Hillman's talking about was from the health department in Frankfurt too.
I think that lady is yours and Chick's buddy. She was up at the other pool last year, and
Mrs. May.
Over the little kiddie pool, I think she.
Correct.
But
correct.
She seemed like, over there the other day, that she had a change of heart, and she's wanting to see us get the pool up and going, and I told her that we don't know a whole lot about pool, so we're wanting her to tell us what we need to do, and seemed like she was...
Damus said we have to take it by the amount of water in the pool, and as Hillman, as Magistrate Dotson has said, we now have to do what the health department tells us so we can get a permit to open the pool. So if you'll do that and get it ready for Frankie when he returns, we will get it out and see what it looks like.
And another thing, Damus, I guess a week or two ago, we had somebody break into the concession stand of the Little League ball field down there, and the camera system we have over there evidently is not working, because I don't think they've got anybody that's doing any of that down there yet. Are you aware of who we got the system from, and what the problems we might be having with it?
I don't know anything about the system over there yet, but I can find out and see what we got to do to get it up and going.
It should be under warranty yet, I'd say.
Yeah,
So
should be.
We've not had it that long, but evidently it must not be working.
Yeah, I can find out and get it corrected.
The judge talking to Eugene Gibbs, I guess Carl's aware of this, he said over at Blackberry, that people had crawled under the senior citizen van and cut a hole in the gas tank and put a plug in it so they can go in at night and just open the plug up and get what gas they want out of it. And I guess...
Well, Hillman, let's keep that a secret and send the deputy over to watch him come get the guys and catch him. If the newspaper people will avail us that opportunity, we'll...
They're pretty smart, whoever...
We'll see if we can't catch him. But what they would go ahead, Carol Napier.
Judge, what I was going to say is I was aware of that situation. What we've done in the meantime is park our 2 vans across the road and in the caretaker's lot to make sure that doesn't happen in the future. So.
He was talking to that there was a lot of vandalism going on around over in that area, and maybe we might need to look at putting some cameras or something over in there.
The sheriff also and Steve Friend, one or the other, and advise them of what Magistrate Dotson had brought to our attention on regard to that particular area of the county.
Yeah. And our road lot, Phelps, is about ready to be opened up, and we need to purchase some furniture for that lot. And John, do we have monies or anything available to we can go down and get some of the furniture at Frankfurt where the place they redo it, maybe get a cheaper rate?
There's nothing budgeted for the materials for office, tables or anything.
Damus, would you have Terry to give us an inventory for Magistrate Dotson and myself and of the stored furniture that the county has stored? Also, we need to look at and I say prison furniture. As you're aware, they have a program of training program at the Kentucky State Reformatory at LaGrange for training inmates in regard to carpentry, especially making of furniture. So we need to check also there, but they ought to be furniture available that's not being used in several of these offices, and to do that, we'll need to get a list together, and so we'll have it available to us.
Judge, they probably won't need a whole lot. I think the road foreman said he might need a desk and a chair and maybe some
Hey, Magistrate Dotson, we can check. We've got some stuff that, that you can make do with, I think, stored around, and then we can check down there at surplus and maybe get them to set us some things back that we can get reasonably priced, and when we find some money, maybe they'll save it.
Brandon, we have some over the county garage, don't we?
We've got some stuff at the garage that we've moved
Some
out of
over
here,
there, David,
moved out
at the county
of some of
garage.
these other buildings, and we've really had a hard time finding places to store some of this stuff.
We're limited anyway where we got
We'll see
to
what we
store
can
it.
find and find you some adequate furniture, I think. Be better than what they're working with today, I'm sure.
Well, the stuff they've got in the old lot is probably not going to be worth moving. And I think all the men need is a place to where they can sit down and get ready for work and have their lunch.
I'm sure we can come up with
a couple of desks and a couple of file cabinets and some chairs.
Yeah, we were talking about going down to the surplus at Frankfurt where y'all got the filing cabinets last year and see what they had down there. But if we've got things here in the county we can use, and we need to use it.
Magistrate Dotson, anything else?
Well, Judge, talking about the road lot, I guess we probably need to get Frank and Damus or whoever to meet with our tenants that we were renting off of and find out what we need to do to close that lot out. We probably need to...
Hatch, would you handle that? Close the old lot out?
I don't know what kind of contract we have. I've not seen one, and Jeannie, I don't think you've seen one either, have you, Jeannie? But we probably need to talk to the owners you know, that lot was probably used back when Wade Justice was
I
magistrate.
doubt, Madam Clerk, if you could find it, but we're blessed with a clerk can almost find anything, Bobby Rose.
But I'd like to, if y'all
normally
could,
finds
to
something.
make arrangements, Frank, and see what we need to do to, Jeannie said we've been cleared up on everything, and we probably need to find out what they want us to do to move and get out of there and move into our new location. And that's probably, Judge, about all I have right now. I've got some more things, but I'll let it rest right now.
Judge, I got one thing here I forgot a while ago while we're on this subject. Davis, on that pool up at Virgie, has it got a cover on it now? Did y'all put a cover on it or not?
No, we haven't got the cover on it right now. It does have water in it, but it doesn't have the cover on it.
Yeah, so I've had some calls and they said they'd like to have it covered up. I don't know the reason, but.
Yeah, we are. We're going to cover them all up.
Okay. Oh.
That'll help keep the sun off of it so it don't dry the seals and stuff out,
Okay.
which we have water in them, but all but Johnson Bottom.
Okay. I just didn't know I had some calls on it, and I didn't know what I could tell.
Mr. County Attorney, let me pass on the court's condolences. I understand you had a death in your family of your niece and that you need to leave to go to the services, so we'll take you up next before the treasurer.
Thank you, Judge. Just a few items. First, I would like to thank Russ Cassidy and the News Express for running a very informative article about the sale of tax tickets and what the ramifications when they are sold. And to that end, as I said at the last meeting, and anytime I get the microphone, I'm going to probably talk about this. The sale by the county court clerk is September the 1st. Once they're sold, you're going to get administrative costs and fees added to it. And if you do have outstanding property tax bills, you need to get them paid or make arrangements prior to September 1st. That is the date of the sale. These will be advertised in the News Express, I think on July the 29th. The big listing will be in the newspaper. But again, procrastination does not gain you anything with these tax tickets. In fact, you get penalized very heavily, particularly if they're actually sold on September the 1st. You're going to find that your $400 or $500 bill is going to be about $2,500 by the time you get done. Two other things. First, I think the judge and magistrates have received the recommendation of the Commission on Reapportionment, and the court now has 60 days to adopt by ordinance either their recommendation or come up with their own plan. To that end, I would ask, I guess, for a feeling of the court. Do you want me to go ahead and prepare an ordinance for first reading at the next meeting on the districts that's been recommended, or are the magistrates going to work on coming up with their own plan?
Prepare it.
I'd say just go prepare it, and if anybody wants to change it, they can
change it that time.
Well, the only reason I say anything is this does have to be done by ordinance, so you're going to have a first and second reading, and do keep in mind your 60-day time.
Be within the statute at the next meeting?
Oh, yes, we'll be well within the statute. You just got them, I think, the last week.
Judge, have you considered any alternatives for the new roads that District 5 has took in? I'd like to make a recommendation, and then you'll probably do whatever you feel like doing. But if we continue to have to serve the new area, then if Jeff can't assist us, then we won't have any other choice except maybe to put another small truck on that route and have them. I don't, Roland, did we get any roads in Buckley's Creek?
I think Magistrate Dotson, that Magistrate Anderson and the road commissioner, Mr. Hatcher, had agreed at the last meeting to assist you. They can speak for themselves this meeting, but Magistrate Anderson?
Yeah, we won't have any problem.
Don't have no problem. If they need salt, they will they can treat
Works.
out with salt.
Yeah, we can work
all
it out.
that. And I think that was brought to our attention that they're not, that's a state road, Mr. County Attorney. I think you brought it to our attention the other time.
Judge, I understand it's a state road down through Stonecoe, and we've got some side roads over there that is it 3 roads, Leo? 3? Well, what about Buckley's Creek? Do we have to take care of any of that?
It's still in my territory, I think.
They didn't take that out. So mainly all we got is on the other side of Stonecoe. And there's 3 roads.
And I think we need to assist Magistrate Dodson that if anybody can understand if you got a road department over at Phelps and it goes all the way over near the Floyd County line, that you need to help. But that's how we get things done. We work with each other.
Well, you know, I talked to the editor this week of the newspaper, and he had an article in there about breaking barriers. And what he said made a lot of sense. But, you know, we are operating under guidelines as a fiscal court to where we have certain districts that we have to kind of be responsible for, and it's probably have to be changed by the court in order for us to be able to go in and out without your permission or the road commissioner permission in emergencies to assist other magistrates. And, you know, I think what he was saying, it makes sense, and I think we'd already talked about that in the last court meeting about helping each other. And but you know, people put things in the newspaper all the time to try to sell the papers, I guess, and sometimes they don't understand the way the system really works. And I read some articles in there where Monk Sanders had wrote about us building parks and senior citizen centers and recreations and things for our people, and he said the money wasn't spent wisely. But, you know, if you take the parks and recreations and the senior citizen centers out of the county, then it would be a lonely place for a lot of the people. Carl Napier can tell you that a lot of times the seniors, only time they see anybody is the day they go to the center. And that's, I think, you know, in my opinion, that building centers and parks and recreations is just catching up to what the other parts of the state has already got.
I think Senator Jones and Representative Combs and Hall has adequately answers their questions when they're asked that down at Frankfort and the rest of Kentucky, and they're very vocal in regard to the quality of life that we should have here like everybody else has in Kentucky.
Judge, I have one other thing. You received in the mail this week something regarding Kentucky e-warrants project. I have reviewed it. Basically, it's a grant of $4,800 for the county to use in purchase of equipment in support of the Kentucky e-warrants project. This is through the Kentucky Homeland Security program, and I would recommend that the court authorize you to sign this agreement to get the grant of $4,800.
That money goes to the county attorney's office, Commonwealth Attorney and Jailer for equipment. That is a good program, and we're happy that Homeland Security has funded to make it available to these 3 offices. And do I have a motion? Motion. Magistrate Anderson, have a second. Magistrate Johnson, have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson? Judge Rutherford?
Madam Treasurer.
Authorize any necessary transfers and interfund transfers to pay the bills, payroll, health, and life insurance.
Have a motion? Have a second. Magistrate Johnson, have a roll call vote.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson? Yes. Magistrate Harris? I'm sorry, Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Acknowledge receipt of previous transfers and interfund transfers for June 21st, 2011. I'll have the July 5th read at the next court meeting.
Have a motion? Motion, Master Johnson. Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson? Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Authorize payment of the expenditure approval list dated July 18th, 2011, and any other utility and telephone bills received before the checks are run.
Motion.
Have a motion, Master Johnson, second, Master Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson? Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson? Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Authorize purchase of a 2008 Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor for the Sheriff's Office from LGEDF funds in the amount of $5,725 to the city of Chardon, Ohio.
Madam Chair, that money is already available to them. Motion? Motion, Master Murphy. Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson? Judge Rutherford?
Authorize the issuance of a check to Stratton, Hogg, and Maddox, PSC, for examination of records for NRCS buyout when funds are received in the amount of $6,400.
Have a motion. Have a second. Have a second, Master Johnson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson? Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Authorize the issuance of a check to Frank K. Nall, PSC, for examination of records for NRCS buyout when funds are received in the amount of $3,200.
And that money is available, Madam Treasurer, already.
No, those have not come in yet.
Check has not come in yet, but
When it does come in.
Correct.
but you're confident that the Genie NRCS check?
Yes, it's for the buyout.
Okay. Have a motion. Have a motion. Have a second.
Motion.
A motion by Master Johnson, second by Master Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
A few court meetings ago, we authorized a check to R.L. Caudle. They're in the process of having their severance tax and royalties calculated, and whenever we get the calculation for the co-royalties, we need authorization to issue a check to Kentucky State Treasurer for the Transportation Department for the co-royalties due from severance taxes paid. We've paid $100,000 to R.L. Caudle. The total bill was $171,000 and something. After we pay the set co-royalties, we're still going to hold $7,228.48 until this project is complete on that.
Have a motion.
Motion.
Have a motion. Have a second. Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Acknowledge receipt of the Treasurer's June 2011 financial statement and fourth quarter report for period ending June 30th, 2011 for fiscal year 2010-2011.
Madam Clerk, that's been submitted to the court, so have a motion.
Motion.
Have a motion. Have a second. Have a second, Master Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris? I'm sorry, Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Authorize the judge to sign and submit a disbursement request in the amount of $277,796 to CAECO number 31 for worldwide equipment for the 2 solid waste transfer trucks when lease closes and funding is available.
Have a motion. Motion, Master Robinson. Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Adopt a resolution for CAECO number 32 lease for $364,929 for 3 solid waste dump trucks, and authorize the judge, clerk, or treasurer to sign any and all appropriate documents when received.
Motion.
Have a motion. Have a second. Have a second, Master Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy, Mr. Robinson, Mr. Dodson, Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
Authorize registration fee in the amount of $75 to the Kentucky Gas Association for workshop September 13th through the 14th, 2011 at the Eastern Kentucky Exposition Center in Pikeville, Kentucky for Charles Carlton.
You have a motion?
Motion.
Have a second? Have a second? Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson, Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy, Mr. Robinson, Mr. Dodson.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
And last, authorize the issuance of a check. We'd gotten previous approval to do it when the funds are received, but they need to go ahead and get this bill paid, so I need the authorization to issue the check in advance of the receipt of the LGDF funds to the RAM program in the amount of $35,000 in order to pay bills.
That pass-through money, Carol, Madam Treasurer, pass-through fund. Have a motion? Have a motion, have a second? Have a second? Mr. Johnson, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy. Mr. Robinson, Mr. Dodson,
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Judge Hay.
5,000, that's just transfer money, just floating through it.
Judge, I'm sorry. Judge, pursuant to KRS 61.810F, I recommend that the court go into executive session to discuss specific personnel matters and also to discuss threatened or pending litigation. It's my recommendation to the court.
That's my recommendation and my motion. Have a second from Mr. Johnson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson, Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy, Mr. Robinson,
No, that's her dump truck somewhere. She said.
Mr. Dodson, Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
Thank you, John Doug.
Who voted?
Concessions, have a roll call taking us out of a closed session into an open session. I have a motion. I have a second. Mr. Anderson, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Murphy, Mr. Robinson, Mr. Dodson,
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Judge Hay.
Judge, we have a few personnel matters. We had one job posting, that for a mini packer driver, solid waste area number 1 at Johns Creek, a 3H position. We had 2 temporary employees, both who meet the qualifications with CDLs, and they both had the same date of hire, so pursuant to code and after discussing this with Commissioner Mike Lyons, he said they were both excellent employees. He'd be happy to have either one in the position. The code provides in that instance that we flip a coin. Mike did that in the presence of both employees, and Gregory Ray was the lucky winner, and we recommend that he be awarded that position. Next, we need approval from the court to hire Donnie Thacker Jr. as a temporary weed mower for the Public Works Department at 2H per hour rate effective July the 7th, 2011. That's one of our seasonal of the 6-man crew, Judge. Next, approval to hire Jared M. Nichols as a temporary replacement loader for solid waste area number 3 at a 2H pay rate effective July the 11th, 2011. He will be replacing Scotty Nunemaker, who is currently replacing Donald Thacker. Next, and finally, approval to hire Sheldon R., and I believe he's known as Ryan Adkins, as a temporary mower driver for road lot number 2 at a 3H pay rate effective 7/12/11, and Mr. Adkins will be replacing Dan Dameron, who's off on sick leave.
That is my recommendation and my motion. Have a second? Have a second from Mr. Robinson. Have a roll call.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Murphy, Mr. Robinson, Mr. Dodson, Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Magistrate Murphy. Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson, Mr. Murphy, Mr. Robinson, Mr. Dodson, Judge Ruth, Judge Ruth.
Yes.
That's all gonna look.